And the winning ways of Elena Rybakina in 2026 continue. Stamp it. Win number 29 on the year.
6-4, 6-3, 6-4, 6-3.
A straight sets victory in her first ever encounter with a Philippine sensation. Alexandra Eala did well to represent herself today. Played some quality tennis at times. But when it mattered most, Elena Rybakina, once again, as she has been already this season.
The dust has finally settled over the BNP Paribas Arena in Rome, and as the roaring Italian crowds step out into the evening air, we are left looking at the undeniable reality of the final scoreboard. It reads 6-4, 6-3, game, set, and match to the world number 2, Elena Rybakina. For Alexandra Eala and the millions of fiercely passionate Filipinos watching around the world, this incredible fairy tale run at the 2026 Italian Open has officially concluded. The dream of pushing deep into the second week was ultimately halted by a Grand Slam winning wall of pure, unadulterated power. It is entirely normal to feel the sting of this defeat right now, and it is natural to feel a deep sense of heartbreak after building so much beautiful momentum on the dirt. But I need you to listen to me very carefully. Wipe away the tears and hold your head incredibly high, because you must not look at this match as a failure. You need to look at it as an absolute revelation. This was the exact defining moment when Alexandra Eala proved, without a single shadow of a doubt, that she fully belongs on the exact same court as the absolute highest tier of the tennis elite, and that she can look them dead in the eye and make them bleed for every single point. Today, Eala did not get simply blown off the court. She engaged in a brutal, heavy, tactical war with one of the most terrifying forces in all of women's tennis, pushing the Kazakh superstar to her absolute physical and mental limits. To truly grasp what happened out there on the red clay today, we have to look past that straightforward final scoreline and dive deep into the specific statistical anatomy of the clash. The exact numbers from this match tell a stunning story of microscopic margins. They reveal a 20-year-old Filipina who fought like a lioness against a champion operating at the peak of her powers. Let us pull back the curtain and analyze exactly how Rybakina survived the Eala test, and why the entire WTA Tour should be looking at these specific statistics with a profound sense of unease. We have to start with the most glaring weapon on the court, which is the Rybakina serve. We knew coming into this matchup that the Kazakh's delivery would be the ultimate decider, and the statistics heavily confirm it. Rybakina fired down 6 aces compared to Eala's 1, but it is not just about the aces, it is about the sheer suffocating pressure of her first delivery. The world number 2 landed 62% of her first serves, and when that ball went in, she won a staggering 73% of those points compared to Eala's 58%. That is the undeniable hallmark of a top-tier global champion. Whenever Rybakina was pushed into a dangerous corner, or whenever Eala started building real momentum in a grueling baseline rally, she could simply reach up, unleash a 120-mile-per-hour missile, and buy herself a completely free point. You simply cannot teach that kind of overwhelming raw power. You can only try your absolute best to survive it. But here is where the statistics get incredibly fascinating, and where the absolute genius of Eala's clay court game truly shines through. Look closely at the second serve win percentage, because this is the specific metric that separates the pretenders from the true contenders on the red dirt. When Elena Rybakina missed her massive first serve, she was immediately and critically vulnerable, managing to win only 45% of her second serve points. Let that reality sink in for a moment. Less than half the time Rybakina was forced to hit a second serve, she ended up losing the point. Now flip that script and look at Eala's second serve performance. Despite facing one of the most aggressive flat-hitting returners on the planet, Eala actually won an impressive 55% of her second serve points. The 20-year-old Filipina outperformed the world number 2 in the most critical pressure-filled statistical category in clay court tennis. This means that whenever the points were effectively neutralized, when the raw power of the first serve was completely removed from the equation and the match devolved into pure tactical baseline construction, Eala was exceptionally solid. She was brilliantly using her left-handed forehand to constantly push Rybakina into awkward defensive positions. So if Eala was holding her own in those baseline exchanges, where exactly did the match slip away? The answer lies in the harsh, unforgiving reality of breakpoint opportunities, unforced errors, and return pressure. The stat sheet shows a painful discrepancy, with Eala committing 5 double faults while Rybakina committed 0. However, those 5 double faults are not a sign of any technical weakness. They are a clear sign of immense, suffocating pressure. Eala deeply knew that if she hit a safe, weak second serve, Rybakina would aggressively step in and crush it for a clean winner. Therefore, Eala felt the absolute necessity to perfectly paint the lines and hit her spots with millimeter precision on every single delivery. When you are constantly forced to walk that incredibly thin tightrope against a Grand Slam champion, the margin for error completely evaporates. Then we must look at the receiving points and breakpoint conversions, which is where the relentless aggression of Rybakina finally broke the dam. The Kazakh secured 36 receiving points to Eala's 20, constantly keeping the young Filipina under heavy fire on her service games. This relentless return pressure allowed the world number 2 to generate 7 breakpoint opportunities throughout the 2 sets, ultimately converting 3 of them by suddenly flattening out her ground strokes and injecting devastating pace exactly when she needed it most. But look at Eala's breakpoint statistic, because it is arguably the most telling number of the entire afternoon. Breakpoints 1 out of 1, a flawless 100% conversion rate. When Eala finally cracked the Rybakina code and earned a breakpoint, she did not flinch. She did not let the magnitude of the moment overwhelm her. She simply stepped up, executed perfectly, and took the game. The tragedy is simply that Rybakina's massive first serve prevented Eala from generating more than that single golden opportunity. When you look at the total points won, the reality of how incredibly close this match truly was becomes startlingly clear. In a straight sets victory, you would generally expect a massive blowout and a glaring points differential, but the final tally shows Elena Rybakina winning 68 total points and Alexandra Eala winning exactly 68 points. Across 2 grueling sets of world-class professional tennis, the entire difference between the reigning Australian Open champion and the challenger from the Philippines was exactly 8 swings of the racket, 8 moments of hesitation, and 8 inches of court space. That is absolutely not a demolition, that is a razor-thin margin. Even looking at the momentum swings, neither player could completely run away with the match. Rybakina's maximum streak was just 3 consecutive games won, while Eala held her ground by stringing together 2 consecutive games, preventing the match from ever turning into a one-sided affair. The scoreline completely hides the brutal physical trench warfare that took place in that arena. In the first set, Eala came out with absolute fire, entirely unintimidated by the occasion. Her first serve percentage was rock solid at 67%, actively engaging Rybakina in lung-burning rallies to drag the taller player side to side and expose her lateral movement on the dirt. As they moved into the second set, the physical toll of the heavy clay became apparent, prompting the highly experienced Rybakina to aggressively shorten the points. The tactic worked, allowing her to rely heavily on her aces to bail her out whenever Eala threatened to mount a comeback. Eala fought desperately, retrieving impossible balls and sliding across the red dirt with the grace of a seasoned veteran, but the Kazakhstani star simply refused to yield her hard-earned advantage. When the players finally met at the net, there was a deep, undeniable mutual respect, because Elena Rybakina knew exactly what she had just survived. She knew she had been dragged into deep, dangerous waters by an unseeded 20-year-old, and she had to earn every single game with the absolute best tennis in her vast arsenal. For the Eala army, and for every single Filipino who held their breath watching this match, I want you to take a massive step back and look at what Alexandra Eala has accomplished. She has firmly and unequivocally established herself as a terrifying threat on red clay. She became the first Filipino player in the Open era to reach the round of 32 in Rome and just stood toe-to-toe with the world number 2. There is zero shame in losing to Rybakina when she is serving at a 73% win rate, but what Eala proved today is that her own ceiling is infinitely higher than anyone previously realized. She showed the entire world that she has the footwork, the heavy spin, the defensive capabilities, and the unbreakable fighting spirit to seriously challenge for the biggest titles in this sport. This is absolutely not the end of the story. It is simply the closing of one chapter and the thrilling beginning of the next. Eala leaves Rome with a career-best WTA 1000 clay court performance, a massive injection of ranking points, invaluable data on how to handle the absolute best pace in the world, and most importantly, the unshakable belief that she belongs at this elite table. The entire WTA locker room was watching this match today, witnessing the world number 2 truly struggle to put away the Filipina, taking note of Eala's superior second serve win percentage, her flawless breakpoint conversion, and her disruptive topspin. The word is officially out that Alexandra Eala is no longer a dark horse, but a massive looming threat. So, to the Eala army, do not lower your flags today, but rather raise them higher than you ever have before. Flood the comment sections with absolute pride and celebrate the incredible fight, the unwavering resilience, and the undeniable brilliance of your champion. Today, the world number 2 may have won the match, but Alexandra Eala won the profound respect of the entire tennis world. The pearl of Philippine tennis is shining brighter than ever. She is marching forward with absolute fire in her eyes, and the WTA Tour is officially on notice.